In the mist-drenched lands of the Rhine Delta, where rivers carve through endless marshes and fog rises from the dawn, a forgotten people once lived, fierce, proud, and loyal, the Batavians. Descendants of ancient Germanic tribes, they built their wooden huts upon the river islands, where the soil was black and rich and the water whispered secrets of gods and spirits. Their lives were bound to the river. They fished, farmed, and trained from youth to ride and swim across the swirling currents, warriors who could cross a torrent in armor and emerge on the other bank ready for battle. To Rome, they were both allies and enigma, a bridge between civilization and wilderness. When the legions of Rome advanced north under the command of Drusus, the Batavians did not fall in defeat. They negotiated. A treaty was born. In exchange for peace and freedom from taxes, they would serve Rome as auxiliaries, their youth fighting in distant wars under foreign banners. The Batavians became the empire's elite swimmers, horsemen, and shock troops, men who crossed rivers others feared to touch. Generations passed, and the bond deepened. Batavian blood was spilled in the swamps of Britain, in the deserts of Syria, and in the forests of Germany. They earned Rome's trust, and Rome earned their pride. But beneath that loyalty, something ancient stirred, a memory of freedom, a whisper carried by the Rhine winds. Then came the madness of Nero. Rome burned, and the empire shook. As chaos swept the capital, the distant provinces trembled with uncertainty. In that storm of confusion rose one man, Julius Civilis, a Batavian noble and Roman officer, betrayed, imprisoned, and humiliated by the very empire he had served. When Nero died, and the year of the 4 emperors tore Rome apart, Civilis saw his moment. He returned to his homeland, to the fog-covered riverbanks of Batavia, and called his people to rise. At night, beneath the oaks and beside the torches, he spoke to the gathered warriors. "The time of Rome has ended," he said. "The Rhine shall run free again." The Batavians answered with fire. They struck the Roman garrisons along the river, swift and silent. Bridges burned. Forts collapsed into flame. Across the Rhine, the Germanic tribes joined them, the Caninifates, the Frisians, the Cerci, and together they drove the legions from the north. For the first time in living memory, Rome retreated. Civilis, one-eyed and unbroken, stood as the new voice of liberty. He sent messages to the Gallic provinces, calling them to unite in a free confederation, a northern empire of their own, born from rebellion. In the early months, victory seemed certain. The Romans were divided, their generals at war with one another. The Rhine frontier fell into Batavian hands. Even the eagles of Rome, the sacred standards, were captured and raised over the marshes. But as the empire stabilized, vengeance returned. The new emperor, Vespasian, sent his legions north with steel and fire. The Roman tide rose once more. Village by village, the Batavians were pushed back. The rivers that had once protected them now trapped them. Civilis retreated to the island of Batavia, surrounded by water and despair. Yet still he fought, driven not by victory but by pride, a defiance carved into his soul. In the final stand, the Rhine burned. Flaming rafts drifted across the water, reflecting in the shields of men who knew the end had come. Roman war horns echoed through the fog. When the dust settled, Batavia lay in ruins, its fields scorched, its warriors slain or captured. And yet, Rome did not crush them completely. The Batavians had fought with such courage, such relentless spirit, that even the empire could not forget. Their lands were restored, their people spared, and their name written into the annals of history. Tacitus, the Roman historian, would later write of them with respect, of their strength, their honor, their unmatched loyalty and fury. The Batavian Revolt faded, but its echo endured. It became a legend of resistance, the story of a small nation that dared to challenge the greatest power on Earth. Today, the Rhine still flows where their villages once stood. Beneath its surface lies the memory of those who fought for freedom, men and women who refused to bow to empire. Their spirit lingers in the mist, whispering through the reeds and waters. Better to die free in the river's embrace than to live as slaves in Rome's shadow.